Yeah, we know when the bay is polluted. We like these are things that we give our money up for, um, to hopefully not only avoid but to improve. And it only seems like things only get worse. So speaking of tax, well, this isn't necessarily a tax, but really just more of a fee. So um, I'm sure you may or may not have heard of the wonderful treatment plant here on Back River, right? The one that is in trouble. There you go.
Many years,
Yep.
a nice spring, summer, a nice hot, humid summer night as that wind comes through our window. Yeah,
Yep.
I've been here
So
many times.
a lot of people don't know this, but the city actually owns that outright. And even though much of the citizens that get service from that treatment plant get their sewage sent there are in the county. So it's kind of a weird situation where the county really has almost no say over the source of much of where their wastewater is going. And so when this thing is defunct, we really have no get back, but we have to pay for it. So one of the things that they did last year was raise about a 15% hike on your water bill to try to help pay for some of these repairs. This thing has been in and out of disrepair for years now. It caught on fire in 2023. 2021, it was sued by the EPA in Baltimore. And of course, this lovely charity here got the fifth ever Baltimore trash wheel to be implemented from the funds that were distributed from that lawsuit. And so it's a storied, troubled place. And we come to find out Baltimore Banner just released this article the other day. Mind you, a 15% raise in water bill to fund. Guess what we're funding? We're funding the plant to just simply get back to where even a portion of where it was originally supposed to be. So if I take you back even further in the past, and you might remember this, there was this big project at the Back River Wastewater Treatment Plant called the Headworks Project.
It sounds familiar.
Yeah, so it was like a $430 million project, and essentially it was trying to beef up all of the systems in the treatment plant so that it could handle the ever expanding population of mostly the county, right? The city's not population, mostly the county. Um, because it kept on having issues where it would leak raw sewage in the Back River, overrun. It still has those issues, by the way. To date, this year alone, we know that it's had a discharge bypass about 4 or 5 times after rain events, which means that they could not complete the cleaning process in the wastewater treatment process. They had to skip a step, and because they could not, there's no way for them to hold this uncompletely treated wastewater. They just have to go ahead and reintroduce it anyway. And the way that we find out here, the way we find out that uncompletely treated wastewater sewage is being dumped in the river is there's this big pier at the end of it called an effluent pipe, and on that pier is a little red light that basically they light up while it's happening. So if you just happen to see it, great. But
You know, it's
people aren't seeing it. Um,
not nice to swim around, I guess.
I wouldn't. I absolutely would not, especially after a rain. I wouldn't put it on my worst friend to try and swim in that water. I mean, it's
And when you're down there messing around with no gloves on and stuff,
yeah.
you're not doing yourself any one wrong move, one little cut, you know.
Well, they say what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right? So
And
I'm a test baby that thesis.
eat dirt and make. Yeah, but so because
Well,
I know.
so the Headworks project, right, was this big $430 million. Uh, Essentially, it was a big renovation, and the county and the city split it 50-50. So each $215 million to foot the bill for these expansions and renovations. The Banner just came out with this article of the 6 digesters that they have. A few of those digesters, which digesters are basically these big tubs where they hold the sewage, and what it allows it to do is separate some of the solids, some of the more solid stuff, and it will often hold different types of aquatic plants and bacteria, and these aquatic plants and bacteria help break down the sewage, and it helps eliminate a lot of the solids. So it's like this natural way of treating a step in the treatment process, this natural way of helping reducing this pollution chemical load, and getting out some of the big chunky poop and yeah, so we have 6 of those at that treatment plant. The Baltimore Banner just did this article explaining how part of that rate hike that we experienced last year, the 50% rate hike, was going towards trying to get 2 of the 6 digesters back online, which means right now they have no digesters online. They have no process here of allowing enzymes and bacteria and plants to break down all of the sewage. So what does that mean? That means they have to use some alternative form. And simply what that means is you just kind of let it dry out. You let it sit in the sun and dry. That's why it stinks so bad, because these digesters are almost always not working. And so like the digester, because it's an actual process where animals or bacteria are breaking this stuff down, you get a lot of that smell tamping down. But when you don't have that, you just got basically raw shit just sitting out in the open air. So we come to find out that they have none of those operating right now. And that's most likely why they've had these 4 or 5 discharges already, and only in the month of, that's like roughly a year. And they're expecting to have to raise at a minimum another 9% on our water bill this summer. Mayor Scott he's already said it. He's saying, I hope it's only going to be 9%. And I hope we only have to do it one more time. So it's them not only spending $430 million over the span of a decade to do all these renovations, but then to find out that these renovations don't work. So now they're upping our water bills. We're not talking about 1 or 2%. We're talking about 15 and 9%. So over the past 2 years, we're expecting our water bill to go up by at least 1/4, at least 25%. Hopefully, right? We're not even talking about BG&E. We're talking just about water bills.
I got well water, so I'm okay right now.
Yeah, thank God for that. So this news story just hit this week by the Baltimore Banner, and shout out to the Banner, dude. They do an amazing job covering this stuff and getting down to the truth. But
I don't care. I don't know where the money goes, man. I just don't know where the money goes.
I don't either. I mean, you're talking about, and that, like I said, that's the type of stuff that is happening on the local level. Because guess what? Out here, like you said, growing up, you can fucking smell it, and you get light on, and you can see the river when it's just been filled with shit, and how absolutely nothing but toxic algae will grow, and you'll see dead fish floating up on the water, and you'll just see on their end a little light bulb saying, "Hey, you fucked up," you know.
That shit behind the back.
Yeah.
That's
smell it. We can smell our tax dollars not being used correctly. And now we have this midge problem. I don't know if you had this when you were growing up. Did you guys have these swarms of midges when you were here?
I don't know what that is. I'm sorry.
They're like these little gnats, essentially. And
okay.
They swarm, and you can like breathe them in some parts of like Miller's Island, and parts of Back River around Cox's Point, especially like some of the backwater parts. These midges will come in, and they're like clouds of. It's like a fucking plague from Jesus. Like it's.
What's the name of that little bug that used to bite you? Chip. No Sam's? You mean like no Sam's?
I don't know what those are, but these don't bite. They're just
these bite.
They're just like little. They're like gnats, and they hover in the air. They'll like hover on top of your vehicle or on your house, and we're talking by the millions, probably billions. And they get in the house, and then they'll die because they don't live very long. These are the things that they're trying to treat for every year. So their answer to that is to have a helicopter fly over a few times a year and just spray what is effectively, they say, a natural insecticide. They just spray it in the air trying to get rid of this stuff. I don't trust anything that's chemically able to kill another living being, but they say it's safe. So yes, you're absolutely, the taxes that we do pay, the fees that we do pay, it's crazy to see just how ineffective it all is. It's really sad, man.
I just sit here and, um, um, I just, as I'm getting older and you just see how when you make a paycheck, that's why kids, they can't do anything, man. They can't afford it. I mean, electric bills are out the butt. Everything costs so much, and it isn't, and everybody's blaming. It's Donald Trump. That's what Westmore says. It's Donald Trump's fault. Everything's Donald Trump's fault. But it's like when Martin O'Malley was here, he raised our taxes like 40 some times. You know, while he was here, he raised them.
Yeah. Well,
And,
the thing is, it's all their fault. They're all
yeah,
in this little club together. Me and you are outside looking in.
and they just spend our money they just spend it on dumb every little program. All I know is that a lot of these programs they keep throwing money at is not working, and they just blow millions and millions of dollars on stuff, and I don't know, and they just make up shit. They just make up shit to tax us on
Yeah.
everything we can do. I mean, I think Virginia, they're taxing or is it here? It's here. Like if you want to get Amazon delivery, you want to get Uber Eats, or you want anything that's delivered to your house, they're taxing it. There was a whole bunch of crazy taxes, like paint. If you buy paint, you're getting taxed on top of that. Even though you're paying sales tax, you're going to be getting paid. You got to pay extra on that.